Okay, you little smarty pantses, I bet you already got letter D figured out. Oh, sorry, and C. So of course when I look at C, I remember that my rules say that I can separate and do the limits individually. And you already knew that. I know, you're probably working ahead. You're like, this is so easy, Torres, give us something harder. So then, of course, when I substitute in, I have 3/2 times 1/2, which is 3/4. Slow down, don't race ahead. Why do you guys not wait for me? And so, of course, on the next one, again, I can separate. So I have 3/2 divided by 1/2. Oh, that's kind of scary. Let's see, what was it? What is it that I do again? Oh, I know. I'll multiply top and bottom both by 2. Ooh, look at that. And so the limit is 3. So when I come to this next one, I try to substitute in, and if I substitute a 2 in, then I'll have 0 in the bottom and I'll go to jail because I can't have 0 in denominators. So my next choice is, let's try to factor it. So I notice that the bottom is a difference of squares, so I'm going to factor it. I bet you noticed it too. And those two factors on top and bottom almost match, except on top it's in the wrong order. So whenever I need to switch the order of a binomial, I can just pull out a negative. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? And so now they're a duplicate and I can cancel them out. And so I'm left with -1 over x plus 2. And now I can substitute in and it doesn't turn into 0. So I'll have -1 over 4. Look at that. Lovely. So this next one, that's a scary hot mess, isn't it? So of course I can't plug in 0 because that would make the denominator 0, duh. So I look at that top and I'm like, what the heck can I do with that? Well, one of your rules was that you could rationalize either the top or the bottom. So of course when I have square roots, usually that's an indicator that I might have to rationalize. So I'm going to use the conjugate. Remember, the conjugate simply changes the sign in the middle. So now that'll be a plus. And of course, I can't just go around multiplying that to the top, but if I do it to the bottom, then I've really multiplied by my favorite form of 1. I'm sure this is everybody's favorite form of 1. Makes me think of Mrs. Torres, because she's number 1. Oops, struggling here. And when I do that to the top, of course, when I FOIL, it makes the oi go away. And so when I multiply the first two terms together, come on, marker does not want to work, it's just like the whiteboard markers, then that just cancels the square roots. So I'll have 2 plus x, and the oi cancels out, so then I can just look at the lasts. And of course that'll make that square root cancel out. So that'll be a -2. And then I go, oh my gosh, look at that numerator. Whew, I can simplify that baby down. That's just going to be x. Ooh, if I have just an x on top, that'll cancel out with the x on bottom. So all of this now cancels with that. And so I have 1 over that crazy looking stuff. And that wasn't the problem with plugging in 0. Remember before, I couldn't plug in 0 up here, but I can plug in 0 to this. And so when I plug in 0 in the denominator, I'm going to have square root of 2 plus square root of 2, which is 2 square roots of 2. Look at that. Okay, so I look at this one and I go, oh man, I know that's one of my new rules, but these guys have to match. So watch how I get around this. This is like somebody trying to talk themselves out of a speeding ticket. I say, ooh, I can actually make those match if I'm clever enough. I need a 3x on bottom. So I'm going to multiply the bottom by 3. And I can't just do that to the bottom, I have to do it to the top also. So that means I really could make these two trade places. And then I'd have my 3x. Oh, time's going to run out. See you on the next video, kids.